Hey guys, welcome to another episode of SuTube. It is January 4th. Happy New Year, everybody. And today I am going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. As most of you are well aware, there has been a heinous 20% dump, and I'm going to be taking a dive into that, taking a closer look at things, as well talking about a very simple trading strategy that I've been using the last week or so that's worked out very well. If that sounds good to you guys, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. With that, let's get it. Alright guys, starting off by looking at my Bitcoin daily chart here. As I mentioned, there's a bit of a heinous 20% sell-off, but if you guys have been following along with my channel, this shouldn't really come as a surprise. Yes, I mean, anytime it actually happens, it is a little bit of a surprise, but just make sure you're ready for it, guys. As long as you were taking profits on your positions on the way and stuff like that, there's really nothing to worry about here. The only thing that happened to me, for example, is my positions ended up getting stopped out. Well, the rest of them got stopped out at break even, but obviously I was taking profits along the way because you guys know that I can't stress that enough. I'm always talking about taking profits quickly when using high leverage and then updating stop losses and that kind of stuff, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to hop over to the weekly chart here. You know, sorry, this is going to look a little chaotic right now, but I'll break things down as I go. You guys will remember from my last video that I said we got our measured move to this red line, which is the 1382 fib extension uh, price target, and as well that matched up perfectly with the measured move of my triangle, which I laid out. Check out my last video if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I had also mentioned that since we were trading above this red 1382 line, I said there was no reason that we shouldn't reach this 1618 line, because that's another one of my favorite fib lines. Obviously it happened, and we actually took it one step further and we did hit the 1786, so that's no surprise that we got rejected there, starting to get a little bit overextended. And as well, what I want to point out is this purple line, guys. Maybe you've seen some other analysts show it, but just looking at peaks from our previous market cycles, you can see here in 2013, our peak here, and just extending it past our 20,000 top in 2017. And you can see that we're actually kind of fighting with that level right now. Not really a surprise, but I don't think this is really going to hold. I think we're too early into the halving cycle, that I just don't think we've reached our peak price yet. Of course, I could be totally wrong, guys. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research. But I'm really thinking that even if we fight with it for a little bit and start working away at it, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we get some sort of a support flip and just absolutely explode. We'll have to see how that works out. But you can see here, just looking back, so this is 2013, we're looking at November, December, somewhere in there, guys. We look at our next peak. You guys know my macro analysis video. If you go down to my description, check out that video that I haven't linked to. Kind of go over my macro analysis and how a whole bunch of reasons why every 4 years we get these pumps. But you can see these are exactly 4 years apart, because we have 2013, November, December, 2017, November, December. So I just don't see why we would have to be done going now, in just a year early, basically. I think we do have approximately a year of more upward action. Of course, there's going to be pullbacks, guys. And yeah, maybe we will even get some steep ones. But just looking at things, guys, look how quickly this wick was bought up. I mean, obviously the day has a long way to go, and this could just be the start of a further sell-off where we do absolutely test these lower structure points somewhere in there. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens, guys. That doesn't have to happen, because obviously the bulls are ready to step in and buy the shit out of this trend. Even if I go to the 15-minute chart here, you can see here that we got way oversold on my RSI and my momentum indicator. And then we just kind of got back up above my purple trend line from this previous consolidation pattern. So the fact that we're treating it as support once again, right along the 382, if we go from where we dumped to our current high of the day, I guess, if you want to call it that. Basically, I did enter a new position just below 30K, and I'm not super confident in it, because I mean, a lot of times you get these big oversold patterns, you get some sort of a double bottom along this kill zone. So I really wouldn't be all that surprised to see the price from here kind of get rejected and go try and form some sort of a double bottom with this area over here. Again, we'll have to see what happens, but so far I'm going to stay in my trade as long as we're holding above my purple trend line here, as well as the 382. I'm not too worried. So if we drop that, yes, it'll be a small profit, whatever, I'll take it. I just don't want to really open myself up to a ton of risk because profits the last couple weeks have been so good. I'd hate to dig into those too much. So we'll have to see what happens here. From here, I want to jump over to my logarithmic chart, which I have pointed out in the past also. Just want to take a different look at things here, and you guys can see that I took a fib extension from our bear market low up to our previous market cycle high and extending from there. And you can see here that I pointed out that we made it all the way up to the 2.618 fib line before getting some sort of a harsh rejection after we cleared all-time highs, guys. Okay, this horizontal red line, you can see we have this bit of a fake out here. But once we actually started breaking it with confidence, getting candle body closes, that sort of stuff, we actually worked our way up to the 2.618 line, not just the 1.618 or 1.782. So that's quite a ways to go yet. If that is to happen, we are getting closer to that $50,000 mark, somewhere really anywhere between 45 and 50. I'm going to consider it that general range. That's just going off this previous market cycle, guys. It does not have to happen, but if you've been following along with my channel for months now, you would know that I've been making a lot of my plays based on this pattern back here. It's just been playing out so absolutely beautifully. And again, if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, go check out that video in my description down below. One reason I sound so calm, guys, is because, for one, the structure of this trend really hasn't changed. There's a bit of a sell-off, but once again, just like last time, there was a bunch of panic in the market. You guys remember that I was saying we basically just started getting retests and that everyone was scared because we were getting big percentage drops and stuff, but that's exactly what's happening right now. People are starting to panic, and people instantly want to panic and get out of positions if they're not comfortable. Usually people are a little overexposed and they have way too much on the table, especially if you're leverage trading. Very easy to get wrapped up in your emotions, guys, and make some stupid mistakes. So try not to do that. Try and stay level-headed the way I am. Because again, just looking back, guys, it's not too often, well, and that being said, in Bitcoin's history, there's never been a case where we got this small of a pump after all-time highs, guys. Every time just absolutely explodes, and that's just what Bitcoin's kind of known for. It's volatility, so when it crashes hard, but when it pumps incredibly hard, guys. And we all know that there has been bigger players, institutional players getting into the market and that sort of stuff. And guys, the real smart institutions and all that kind of stuff, yes, they were absolutely buying at these much lower levels, whether you think so or not, they were. But there is still bigger players coming into the game, so we can't forget that there is still money coming in. And the people who are buying at these levels, Michael Saylor, for example, straight up admitting that he was buying at like $19,000 or whatever it is. These big players putting hundreds of millions of dollars into the market are not looking for a 3-week pump. They're not looking for a 3-week breakout trade, guys. They're looking for an entire market cycle. And in my opinion, this red line here is the starting line of this cycle, not the end. Look at back here. Again, it was the starting line, and we pumped 1,600% from there, guys. Not saying that has to happen again, but just don't be too short-sighted and selling yourself short, because one thing I want to mention is, as I was being a bit of a degenerate on Twitter and just kind of looking at other people's opinions and stuff like that, guys, I did see someone who said that they did sell at 32 point, what did they say, 32.8 thousand or something like that. And guys, there's nothing wrong with taking profits, nothing wrong with that. But he said he's holding out until 10,000 to get back into the market. And this isn't to point the finger at anybody, and I know it's a little bit like story time here, but what I want to point out is For Bitcoin to drop back to $10,000, a lot of people, the reason they think that is because we have experienced things like 80% pullbacks, right? From our market cycle high to low here, that's an 84, 85% correction. So that size of correction does happen, guys. But what I want to point out is the structure is completely different. This is much different than getting this kind of a pullback right here, because again, we just broke all-time highs and we're just starting to get our confident breakout like we did back here. So yes, a pullback is inevitable, guys, but to go back down to $10,000, okay guys, so that would be retesting this area kind of where I was looking for my retest of the triangle, which obviously we got already and have used that as a springboard. So to assume we're going to drop back down here, let's just take a minute and look back to our previous market cycle, guys. So assuming, again, we're kind of in this general area here, that means that the price would have had to drop from here back down to around $500 in this market cycle, because it topped out around 1,200, drop over 0.5% from that market high, even though we closed above it and all that. The guy claiming that we're going to drop back down to $10,000, guys, that's going from a parabolic bullish price discovery mode to dropping halfway back down into the bearish market cycle, okay? In my opinion, yes, it absolutely could happen, guys, but trading is all about playing your odds. We weigh our odds out in front of us and we make educated guesses based on that. So it's not quite gambling. We do have a bit of an edge if we understand technical analysis. But to just give a bit of a gut feeling and say we're dropping back down to $10,000 is completely emotional and gut feeling driven. There's no technicals to back that up. Yes, we get, once again, we get those percentage pullbacks, but the structure is so different in what we're experiencing right now that I just really don't think that's going to happen, and I won't even entertain the idea of it happening. Again, if it does, just have a plan B, guys. Get out of the market, do whatever. And I'm not saying FOMO in right now and go all in with high leverage. Nothing like that, guys. I'm just saying that comment just got my blood boiling a little bit, because you guys, and again, I shouldn't get as wrapped up in that kind of shit as I do, but that's just going back to, you guys know how much it was bugging me that people were saying the CME futures gap had to fill at $9,600, and I said absolutely fucking not. It doesn't have to do anything, just like this doesn't have to pull back to $10,000, and just like the other way, it doesn't have to go to 50. We're traders, we play it as it comes. It's more important to be able to react to the price action than it is to just blindly guess and look at our crystal ball and just say what's going to happen, guys. If you do appreciate this content, guys, and you're getting some helpful insights, if you wouldn't mind, just smack that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't, and share these videos with your friends or people you think might benefit from it if you do find these educational. The last thing I just want to go over to is, again, just looking at zooming right in on my 15-minute chart. And again, I'm just going to stay in my long position as long as this purple line and the 382 hold. So if we start dropping below 30.5, I'll probably exit my trade. And I'm not even saying that's a good idea. Maybe my stop loss should be way down here, but I just don't want all this unnecessary risk. And I would rather just cut my profits short and look for re-entry. So we'll have to see how that goes. Going back to pointing out my oversold RSI and momentum indicator here, I was talking about a very simple trading technique I've been using lately. And guys, one thing I want to point out, and I know I've mentioned it in the past, and if any of you guys watch Four Flies or Sammy, my favorite analyst, you guys will know that he has pointed out in the past, and I've pointed out in the past, that a lot of people are going to get wrecked by using the RSI in these markets, because a lot of people are going to be seeing things as overbought when really it's just the relative strength index. It's just implying that there's a ton of strength in the market. But what I've been looking at is more so, rather than looking for where it's overbought to get out of a position, I'm more interested in where it's oversold to get into a position. And that's just because it's a very strong uptrend, you guys, and anytime that serious selling pressure happens, well, the buying pressure just comes right back in. I mean, look at this. We had this heinous dump and then just boom, off to the races once again, right? Absolutely huge pump with that Yeah, well, not huge, but whatever, a very good pump. You understand what I'm saying. But I just want to go back and show where I entered positions recently. Basically, any of these blue little horizontal lines here, I was adding just beautifully. And you can see here down on my RSI, just kind of circling where we were reaching overbought, or sorry, oversold territory. And the blue ones are kind of where it was just tapping oversold. So, I mean, well, I was gonna make a video last night about this, but and once again, sorry about that, because if you follow along on my Twitter, you'll know that I had mentioned I wasn't going to make a video this weekend because I had been kiteboarding out in the snow all weekend, and I was very tired last night and just needed a rest, and I'm sore and whatever. I was having fun. Conditions were good. Snow and wind and sun was all out, so me and some friends had to have some fun. So I never did make this video, but I figure I'll mention it this one, and that's just, yeah, entering on these turquoise or blue lines here. And I wanted to point out in the video last night that eventually this won't work, okay? No pattern is going to work out forever, but it was working out so well that I just had an alert set on this green line here. Anytime that the RSI started getting near oversold, I was just adding to my position a little bit. And another thing is, guys, I was in a position from much further back, so I wasn't really adding a ton of risk because I was just adding to my position, but still able to um, keep my stop loss at break even or in a profit. And of course, along the way, I was taking profits, and I've mentioned that in pretty much every video that I make. So you can see here, my circles are either blue or purple, and basically the difference is the purple is where it gets real oversold, okay? So here you can see that we got very oversold, and from there we just started to trend up. Here just a little bit oversold, and you know, yeah, absolutely, we still trended up, and that's great, but it's really these purple ones that I'm more interested in. How far the RSI dip. Look how oversold that is, you guys. That is absolutely nuts. And then not only that, but my momentum indicator also, look, it got all the way below the green support box. With those two lining up like that, as soon as I got that green candle close, I wanted into a position, guys, because every time we get those, what I'm circling in purple, it seems to really take off. Honestly, I think the only time it hasn't worked out where these two indicators are lining up this well in oversold territory. Almost every trade I've ever taken on that in the last 6 months, guys, has been profitable, except one, which I actually believe I shared on XRP a while ago. That was the first time that a trade with this setup has ever failed me, where I haven't at least broke even. And the reason it failed with XRP is, well, you guys kind of see what's happened in the last week or two with that. So, I mean, that's kind of a bit of a black swan event. I'm not going to take it personal, and I'm not going to stop trusting my patterns because, again, it's just playing your odds, guys. And so, yeah, basically, once again, we're in a strong uptrend. And yes, even though we are starting to correct, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe this time it is actually the start of a downtrend and we're just going to dump below this. But for now, I was willing to at least roll the dice on a bit of a long. So anyways, guys, that's just kind of what I've been looking at. Oh, another reason why I say that I want to uh, take my risk off the table if we drop this purple line in the 382 fib line is, notice that I have some of these green boxes outlined. And that's when we get these really oversold conditions. A lot of times we end up trading higher, but then getting back down to form some sort of a double bottom. And as well, the RSI gets a bit of a bullish divergence. Shit's a mess here, sorry about that. But again, even right here, it's a very small one, but yes, we got oversold, and then we got a bullish divergence on the RSI, and we got a bit of a double bottom. And yes, this is just a 15-minute pattern, but it still kind of works the same, guys. So that's just what I've been watching at with some of those oversold conditions. Anyways, for now, all I'm really watching is, well, let's see if we keep coiling up in this potential, almost a bit of a bull flag. I was kind of concerned when we had this dump that we might form a bit of a bear flag below this purple line and get some sort of a continuation pattern. But as far as right now goes, we got kind of a V-shaped recovery and starting to consolidate in what looks to me like a bit of a bull flag. So I would like a third touch point along this yellow line with a pullback and then breaking above. More importantly, I would like the same on this red line because obviously that's a little bit more of a long-term trend, and that's all the way back from where we started our descent yesterday. So just a couple of lines that I'm watching there. And again, guys, none of this is financial advice. Always do your own research, form your own opinions. I'm just showing you some trend lines that I'm watching for now. I'm already in a trade. I've told you what I plan on doing with that, and depending how the price action reacts with some of these trend lines, I may add to my position again. But again, if I do that, it's going to be just to kind of keep my stop loss at break even or in a profit, just to not open myself up to more risk. But let's say we get some more oversold RSI and I'm able to stay in my position, it would be great to add to my position again, something like that, guys. Anyways, guys, I think that's all I have to say today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and one more time, if you could smash that thumbs up and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. And that being said, guys, hope you all had great holidays, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.